And now, back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Everyone loves Tyler Milliken. Not as much as they love Tyler Milliken's cousin.
No. Impossible.
In fact, we call Tyler Milliken around here Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin, which we've not seen Tyler Milliken's cousin in a little bit. But you'll know him when you see him because the light will be shining in that summer sun off that huge, gigantic cross he wears across his neck. Which then we put on the internet and people went, what's the big deal?
People always told him, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking Reggie's heart. Oh, no.
Yep. That was his Dan the Wagon Man spot.
That's right.
Watch him slam dunk for an A1. JT is number one.
All right, so you're going to have to kind of guide me through this Tyler Milliken story.
Okay.
We love Tyler Milliken. He loves the Red Sox, and kind of guide me through what we're doing here, Hard.
Okay, so Tyler Milliken for a while now has been on the Section 10 podcast, I guess. Mm-hmm. Very popular. I mean, these guys, you know, they do appearances, and they're
throwing out first pitches at ball games. They're doing it all.
Celebrities. These guys.
Yeah, he has a very successful podcast. Absolutely.
Talk a lot of baseball, but they do venture into some personal stories. And most recently on the Section 10 podcast, Tyler Milliken said something that caught the attention of one of his co-hosts, and they went down this rabbit hole. Now, I have to say, the more I learned about Tyler Milliken, the more I learned about him when I worked with him on the Midday Show, the more fascinating a person he becomes. And he does have things in his history. The very fact that he is from Brockton and grew up in the mean streets of Brockton. And
I'm from the streets. I grew up in Brockton.
That's right. You meet him and you talk to him. He doesn't really strike you as a mean streets of Brockton type of kid.
Kilometers.
That was a better day.
He's also, very much into statistics and is sometimes well-spoken and can speak eloquently about the intricacies of baseball, but doesn't understand some very basic things, and found himself in a pickle as a young man. Nothing to do with the mean streets of Brockton, but just an incident at his home.
Okay, so here is Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin talking about something from his past.
Mm-hmm. Pets don't understand the dangers of your genitals.
I don't think that's true.
They know exactly what they're doing.
It can be very hard to coax them over to them, as a matter of fact. What's it going to take? Pay attention to me.
I know you're wise to the peanut butter.
Hachi machi.
Pets don't understand the dangers of your genitals.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That was almost that. That was almost what that was.
Wait. Got about halfway through that sentence. T, what are you trying to say, brother?
I have a scar from an unfortunate incident when I was 7.
Peanut butter incident?
No, not at all.
Great minds.
There you go.
Are you trying to say that you have a scar on your wiener from a dog?
I do. Shut up,
What?
Buffy.
What if it was a wiener dog that gave him the scar?
Oh,
That's for Stephen King, if you're listening.
serendipitous.
It happened. I ran into my mom's room holding it, and it was bleeding, and it was very traumatic. Genuinely, it's a real-ass story. It's not why I have this. Go ahead.
Why are you dog, T?
I wasn't my dog. My second dog was
Based off of the information I have in my hands, I can only come to
I didn't wear pants a lot as a kid. I often kind of rocked out in my boxers, and Buffy had very long claws. So when she would jump up, sometimes there was a little shredding that happened, and on my it got shredded.
So I had a very similar story to this. I'll wait until the end of the story to tell the Tyler story to tell mine.
Okay.
Because it ended badly.
Number one, I don't like that they call him T. It's a little too familiar, and he's Milliken.
No, he's Tyler Milliken's cousin.
He's Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin.
Yeah.
So you can either go with that, if you
TMCC.
if you want to give him, a little bit of familiarity and respect, you call him Milliken. He's not a T.
No, he's far too heavy. No,
He's Milliken.
Yeah, it's got to have a couple.
It's got a Millhouse ring to it.
Yeah. For every a T is like.
That's what you call Tom Morgan is T-Bone.
Right,
T.
right. That
What's
makes
up, T?
sense.
What's
Yeah.
up, T-Bone?
You can't have two
Man
Ts.
rocket.
That's right.
You got to be a man rocket to be a T or a T-bone.
Absolutely.
Did you get stitches in your peen?
Not stitches, but a slash.
A slash.
Like blood.
Yeah, that's back. It's more like how'd you fix it? I'm sure they didn't slash it to like clean it up. Let's slice this thing to
more
take
the
care
other
of
way.
it.
After I woke my mom up, she brought me to the bathroom.
Why was she asleep?
It was like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning.
What were you doing with your dog at 4 in the morning?
What was going on with the pup?
I was just someone. I would get up early and I'd play video games. I like to get up
At
early.
4 in the morning?
How old are you? Like 8 or 9.
That's only in the morning. You should be making breakfast anyway.
You should be up playing video games by then. It's like an alarm
What is
clock.
going on?
Whoa, whoa.
Whoop, whoop. The whistles go whoop.
Got up at 4 when you were 8?
My whole childhood, I was always up early. That's when my dad left for work. So I'd get up and I'd have breakfast with him until he left. And that was kind of it.
Wow.
And then I'd play like Dragon Ball until everyone woke up. Or I'd watch Sox in 2, breakfast with the Sox in the morning.
Oh, yeah, it's on brand. So, John, did you play Dragon Ball? Because it seems like you would like dragons.
No, Dragon Ball. I'm old enough that Dragon Ball was after.
I don't know what Dragon Ball is.
It's a video game, obviously.
It's an anime-based video game.
There you go.
Yes.
You like dragons?
Adolfo would be way into this.
Well, who doesn't?
You're dragging these nuts.
Yeah.
High five.
Take that, dumbass.
With a what?
I'm dragging these nuts across portions of your face.
Sure, I get it now. Thanks.
Fred Puppet's back out. Yeah, take that. You got his head spun around backwards. It's The Exorcist. Okay, yeah. High five, Fred Puppet.
You're saying D's nuts.
There you did it. Now you know how to do it. Do it again.
D's nuts.
No, you gotta sync it up.
You need a master puppeteer like Hardy to pull that off.
That's I don't pretend to be that. All right, here we go. We continue.
And your dog, maybe.
I didn't my dog.
Nobody's around, so what I do with my
Yeah.
dog, no one
Just
knows.
the two of us.
The Neosporin did wonders.
Stay between us.
So there is a scar or there isn't?
There is.
Well, asked to see it. I had a fraternity brother.
It's a podcast. Let's see the scar.
Well, I had a fraternity brother that got nailed with a lacrosse ball in his testicles, and he had one that it blew up to an enormous size. And we without, I will say, without any hesitation, it was a sight to see. And you'd often, if someone was coming by, you'd go like, "Oh, you should see this guy's testicle." It's a whole situation, like big, like an apple.
Would he show it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just your testicle. I mean, it's not really that big a deal.
No.
Everything was consensual. Don't get anything in your head that it wasn't. It was all agreed upon. Social pact.
What did your mom do to you in the bathroom?
I was 8. I was a child.
I'm just asking.
There's
You'd stop that part of the story.
You did stop at a weird time.
Cleaned it up. We put the Neosporin on. We kept it moving.
Yeah, but you said the Neosporin
To the
did
notebook.
wonders. If it's scarred,
Well, it was an open wound.
I mean, how many wounds have you gotten in your life that didn't turn into scars?
I think it's different on that skin. I think it's flimsier.
Skin is skin, I think.
Skin is thin.
Have you ever seen the first scene from Dave when he's describing his situation when he was born?
Yeah.
And the skin they put in different places. It's like snake skin.
That seems like thin skin. I actually think I agree with him there.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't.
Not limp, though.
Not what?
Gets thinned out. Limp, there's all sorts of extra skin.
Yeah, you got a lot of skin going if it's just sitting there.
So, T,
No, I was 8. I don't even think I knew what that was yet.
You're like, we got him.
I just remember I ran into my mom's room holding my and I was like, Mom, wake up.
Why do you say it like that?
No. And I didn't want to wake my dad up. I was terrified of waking my dad up.
You said he was gone. Your story is all over the place.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know. This is
It was 4 in the morning.
This is not lining up, T.
If you'd like to have my mom on to talk about it, she can open up.
I would love to have her on this program.
Queen. Get her on here.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot to this story.
It's kind of just what I said.
And that's the problem.
Okay, I have a similar story. I'm quite confident I can tell better. So, I when I was
better than T?
Yeah, I think so. So, but I do want you guys to go a lot.
Okay.
All right. So there's going to be some information here that needs to be told. To stay with me. So, you know how I used to have to spend like weeks in Long Island in the summer at my mom's parents' house, like my grandparents' house down there, and there was nothing to do. At one point, they had a dog, and the dog jumped up and scratched my genitalia. And I didn't think much of it. It hurt, but I didn't think a whole lot of it. Now, we get back to Michigan, and I'm sitting there, and on the foreskin, there is started to become like a black pimple, a blackhead. And
foreskin, are you anteater? What are you dealing with down there?
No, the foreskin. I'm circumcised. The foreskin. The foreskin, you know what foreskin is? The foreskin that they've
Isn't
clipped.
foreskin what gets removed when you're circumcised?
But
I thought so. Yeah, there's still some left. Even
there's still left around. It's the way. It's trust me.
Mine's all gone.
Oh well, it's very dynamic. I don't know how they quite. Then I don't know what happens when you get aroused. There would be a lot of tearing if there's no extra skin. I like how he's like, foreskin, don't you get that removed? Well, yeah, the various sizes. If it was taut skin all the time, there would be a.
Let's really get into the weeds of what foreskin means.
A lot of tearing. I wonder who needed the explanation.
I do. I want to talk about that too. How old are you, by the way, when this is going on?
Like, let's say 10 or 11.
Okay.
So this happens.
Early bloomer, late bloomer.
I'm young enough where it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So like, so I go to my mom and I'm like, da 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 da. She goes, okay, we're going to take you to the dermatologist. Now my father had been working for this porn company. Now my father was working on this dermatological product line called Vibraderm with a doctor named Dr. Martin Tesler. So my dad, who is not a man of great humor, was working with this guy, like was dominating his out of work hours. He was coming up with marketing for this product. So my mom takes me to Dr. Martin Tesler so we can go in there and get it for free. So we go in and we are there, and it's a regular waiting room. It's not after hours. And he takes me into the other room, and he looks at it and he goes, okay. And then I'm very nervous. It's a microscopic, my situation. And then he goes to pop the blackhead, which gets me screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling and screaming and screaming and screaming in fear. And he's like,
is it like a blood blister that's on it?
No, it's just like a blackhead. The best way I can describe it is the dog had made a small perforation that wasn't a cut. And then dirt or something got in there, and it created a tantamount to a dirt pimple.
Ah, okay.
Like I
tiny one.
Far be it from me to tell you what was going on with your genitalia. It sounds like a blood blister.
No,
which looks like a blackhead.
Okay, I don't remember. I was 11. I was screaming too much to hear any description of it.
Right.
And so he does all that. And he's irritated with me because I've been screaming and yelling. And we come out, and the receptionist says, literally, you've cleared out the waiting room. My screaming, in all reality, this is not a lie. There were like 2 people waiting. They both left because there was a child screaming.
They were just here for a little bit of back action.
Screaming, my penis, my penis, my penis. And you know how he's a doctor and he's like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Could barely hide his disdain for me at that moment. he was like really pissed off.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I wasn't doing anything like this. There's no way this hurt. But I was a little kid and I'm like, what's going on? Like, it wasn't that he was doing anything inappropriate. It was just, I was so scared that something was going to hurt down there.
Right.
That he was like doing it. And I managed to clear out the waiting room with my whales.
Now, did your dad end up losing the account?
No, but it ended up failing.
Oh.
So that it was a lot of work for nothing. He didn't invest any money. He must not have invested much money into it.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget Vibraderm because there was just Vibraderm bottles of product and Vibraderm marketing analysis just hanging all over the house.
Like an Amway situation?
Well, I mean, maybe they were trying to start an Amway situation, but my father, then he would take to his underwear and pace around the home and worry and fret and pace and obsess. And he would just walk in circles around the house, around the house, around the house. It was a good way to develop good thought patterns.
Is there any evidence today of that trauma that you sustained back then?
If you look close enough, which I haven't right now it would be you need a microscope. But there is a small like indentation.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's on the foreskin.
So it's kind of ribbed.
Hardy,
girls are like,
well, I don't know what you're doing down there, but it's working.
You're like, wow, this is, you're doing something right. And I'm like, yeah, baby. I'm like, that's herpes. It's the way herpes feels. All right, very good. There you go. Tyler Milliken's cousin's cousin had a similar injury to mine. It seems like his was much worse. Cedric Maxwell will join us. I'm guessing this is his last time he's joining with us this season, so we'll have to get that. It's a sad day, but we will power through. We'll be back in just a moment. Cedric Maxwell, the color analyst for 98.5, the Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network, obviously an all-time great Celtic, owes me a favor because at the end of the Game 7 broadcast, Sean Grandy had this to say.
Want to get too far into it, and thanking you guys because all your friends on the morning show will, make a story out of it.
So there you go. He shut up because of me. You're welcome, Cedric.
Oh, okay. So I owe you a solid then. Okay.
Yes, you do. All this ridiculing has finally paid off in your favor.
I got you. Those guys in the morning show. Those guys, not you, but those guys.
No, it's basically me, to be fair, to get them off the hook. Cedric, but one thing that Sean did say is he said that, but I do want to talk about this. Like all year, it was kind of like this thing like, oh, yeah, it's a gap year. Everyone said it's a gap year. Look at them now. They're so good. They're so good. They're so good. Then they lose Game 7, and he literally goes, they were playing with house money. So it just was such a turn. Like
you can't have it both ways, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so egregious. Like I had to bring it up. Like it's like you can't do something all year and then when they lose, go, I didn't mean any of it. It was just house money. You were making fun of people for saying it. You weren't good. Now all of a sudden they're not good because they lost Game 7. I mean, I did find that intellectually dishonest.
Well, I think that, everybody wants to kind of get on another page and turn the page. And I think that's what Sean did once the season was over. They did have a great season. And even if they lost that 7th game, to me, it still showed me their virtues about that team. Think about Game 7, you go in and I'm sitting there, they say, Tatum's not playing tonight. And you were looking going, what? He's not playing tonight. So the Celtics had yet another opportunity to lay down and lose a game. They got down early. They battled to get back and had a legitimate chance at the end of that game to win it. So you give them a bunch of credit, but at the same time, there were a lot of things which didn't go as well as you thought they would have gone.
Okay, let's take them, I guess, in chronological order, starting with Max, Jason Tatum not playing. Based on what was said on Friday, how surprised were you when it was announced he wasn't going to be playing that night?
I was shocked, really. I did not know the severity of it. I think that Sean had spoken to Joe and asked him on the plane. He said, what was up? He said, well, he was warming up on the bike, and at that point, the game was all but over in Philly, and decided not to put him back in. So I was under the assumption that, it's fine. But once it got to the game, and they explained that his knee there was some soreness in the knee. And one thing you can do if you're a player right now, people are more cautious because they start thinking about what happened with Kevin Durant. Soreness in the knee, put more stress on the other leg, and then end up blowing out his Achilles. So I think the Celtics were just very cautious about where they were going with Tatum.
Okay, so cautious, and there's been some discussion back and forth as to whether or not it was his decision, the team's decision. Let's say it was a mutual decision. Mm-hmm. Then another decision is made for the starting lineup. So once again, I'll ask you, Max, how surprised were you when you saw out on the floor, not Jaylen Brown and Derek White, but Shireman and Harper and Luka Garza to start the game?
That really didn't surprise me at all, in the fact that I look at Joe Mazzulla in the first game of the season. He said, Maxwell, I'm going to do this. I'm going to muck this thing up. He saw these last couple of games with the 76ers, Celtics not playing good, not playing well, getting off to a good start. So he decided to flip the script. You don't want to keep banging your head against the wall when people said, play Garza, play Shireman. He did that. He got a start out of them, and they did not score the ball. There was, I think, 5 or 6 guys who didn't score in that particular game. So his strategy to change things up just went off the rails, and he reverted back to playing these other guys.
Yeah. Do you think Game 7 is the appropriate time to shake things up like that for the first time?
Yes, I do. When you think about you up 3-1 and you see things going poorly, you don't go, okay, 3-2, 3 up. And then I think at that point, that was a feel for the coach. And I don't think that anybody's going to question Joe Mazzulla about what he feels about his team and them trying to get a jump start. So,
but in hindsight, it did not work.
No, it did not work.
Okay, because Forsberg wouldn't admit that. Forsberg was still saying that it worked. But so you're saying you understand why he did it. In hindsight, it didn't work, which is a logical thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
Forsberg would not get off that it didn't work.
He was all about, well, Pritchard. What if Pritchard makes that corner 3? Then it would have worked. They were right there.
Because if your opinion is that he needed to change things up, that's your opinion. That's fine. In hindsight, it didn't work is what a logical person would admit.
Well, I think his opinion was his opinion. And if you were looking at it from a basketball standpoint, yes, you did have to change some things up because what the 76ers were doing. You wanted to put a little bit more pressure, having Garza out there, see if you could bang maybe him quickly, change his strategy, and went back to something else. And that's what coaches do. Good coaches do. They adjust. They try to make adjustments. So I don't have any problem about how Joe changed it around. Was I surprised to see him out there? I think, I was a little surprised, the guys who stepped out on the floor. But at the same time, it didn't surprise me about his strategy to change things up.
Now that we're in the offseason, Max.
Let's do this real quick.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown did a thing, did a live stream after Game 7. He did it on Sunday, and he said that this was his favorite season as a Celtic. What did you read into that? What did you think of that statement?
I know a bunch of people have said that, talked about that. I had no problem with it. I think he was talking about his favorite season because he looked at the people who were around him. He looked at people like John Wallach, who said this is going to be a year where the Celtics weren't even going to, make the playoffs.
So he was wrong.
A bunch of people said that. And he looked at, and what they did, they surprised everybody, me and everybody else, because the first 3 games of the season, I think they were 0-3, and you're like, well, we'll be home early. This is over. They're not even going to make the playoffs. And then they turned it around, and then they start winning game after game, and they got multiple guys to play well. And Jaylen Brown really carried this team. So I didn't see anything that he was slapping at anybody. He just said it was, for him, He said it's one of my favorite years, regardless of what everybody else might think.
What about the idea that it was his favorite year because Tatum wasn't there for most of the year?
No, I didn't look at it that way.
Okay.
I think he said it was his favorite year. Now, his favorite year and his opinion about what he wanted to do, that was his. So I didn't have a problem with it. I don't think that he was kicking at Tatum because he wasn't there. He wanted Tatum to be there if you were going to win games. As a matter of fact, when Tatum came back, the day that Tatum came back, I remember walking up to Jalen. I said, you're responsible for Tatum coming back right now. Because if they hadn't played really well enough to be in the hunt for the playoffs, you weren't bringing Tatum back. So, and Jalen kind of nodded that. We dapped each other up. So I don't think he had any animosity towards Tatum coming back.
I just wanted to know, Max, now that they're trying to put the controversy behind them, what do you think this roster's biggest need is? What does Brad have to do?
Can I just ask one more question about Jaylen Brown?
What's the controversy, John? I want to answer this question. What is the controversy?
The controversy was what Fred was just discussing, and you have put that controversy to bed, and I was trying to move away from that.
Well, Max, I did want to ask you this because you know him, and I do think this is unfair. I do have an opinion on this, and I think it's completely unfair. So Tracy McGrady, who apparently is friends with Jaylen Brown, I don't know anything about it. He said Jaylen Brown's frustrated. Then he goes on to just go, Jaylen Brown had a great season. Jaylen Brown was a great leader. He doesn't say anything about him being frustrated. Then Brad Stevens comes out and says, I don't think he's frustrated. I have a great relationship. Then Jaylen Brown comes out and says, I can tell you, double down, I'm not frustrated. Is Jaylen Brown frustrated? I'm willing to go with there being no evidence in the two main parties saying that no one's frustrated. Is Jaylen Brown frustrated? Have you heard that?
I have not heard that at all. Matter of fact, I was on Shannon Sharp's show the other day,
Big Time.
lately on Big Time, name dropping. And I was on that show late at night, and they were asking me about that. They said, boy, they're just peeing all over Jaylen Brown. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, they gave him $350 million. If you want to pee on me, give me a ring, bro. Give me a
Yep.
I'm all set with the ring. If you want to pee on me, go ahead.
Yeah.
So they have been very receptive, and that they have, I think, stepped out of their way to be, especially when you think about their top players, to be very complimentary to what they wanted. So I don't think that Jaylen, then you looked at the last line that Jaylen had. He said, if it's up to me, he came back and clarified this. He says, if this is up to me, I would be here for the rest of my career. I love Boston, and I have no problem right now with Brad Stevens or any of the organization. So part of this stuff was kind of mingled up and junked up. But at the end, I think he clarified it enough to tell us what he'd like to do and where he would like to be. Now, what the team does, when you think about it, because everybody's asked questions, well, do you break these guys up? Do you have Tatum? Do you switch? I think you still have a team that is championship driven, and I think they're a couple of pieces away. Now that they've gotten under the salary cap, you can start rebooting, and you can bring in other players. If there was one thing that disappointed me, it was really, I think, the Vukovic trade, because
of course
that never worked out. Regardless of what people might say, those numbers never worked out.
We didn't play,
Him playing just because look at the very end, it tells you Joel Embiid, he didn't even play in Game 7 at all. So if you went to look at one thing that maybe could have been different, and you think about it this way, what happens if you have Simons, who was a dead red 3-point shooter,
right?
And you don't make that trade? So there's a bunch of things you can look at and muddle up. But that particular thing did not work for the Celtics the way I thought it would. I thought Booch would come in and he would be a consistent provider, especially on the defensive and offensive end. That never happened. He never got comfortable here in Boston.
Well, it certainly made sense when they did it. But I just want to go back to like your conversation with Shannon Sharp. How much do you pay you? No, I'm just kidding. So I want to go back to your thing with Shannon Sharp. Like what you kind of talked about it, but like what are people talking about when they say he's frustrated? I mean, like you said, they made him the highest paid player in the NBA when that opportunity arose.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they treat him poorly. I have to imagine that they treat him with a great deal of respect, like stars in the NBA get treated.
Yes. Yes.
So, like, where is this narrative? Like, what? Like, when Shannon Sharp asked you, Shannon's a great guy. We've had him on a bunch of times. When you ask, like, what's he talking about? Like, why are people saying that?
I think they're saying that because you look at little tidbits. You look at Tracy McGrady that says, I'm one of his, I'm a close friend of his. And I talked to him, and he seems to be frustrated. So you hear the outside noise. Until we heard from Jaylen Brown put a punctuation mark at the very end of that by saying, this is how I feel about Boston. This is my relationship with Brad Stevens. Then I think we really got the final say in it. But people want to make this narrative all the time about the Celtics, about Brown, about Tatum, about these guys not liking each other and not being able to play with each other. That, to me, that's the crazy part that you hear, and people still keep manifesting that.
All right, what are you doing this summer? We're not going to talk to you for so long. Unless you want to call in. I mean, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll call in, man. I call in. I'm going down to be with this guy named Kyle Bailey. He's down in Charlotte.
Be careful, because he'll fight you. He's like a pit bull.
Don't joke about him.
I will probably be in Charlotte this summer. I am. I think sometimes here in June. I'm about to jump the broom again. I'm going back to the marriage thing again, probably in June. So I have a wedding in June.
Who's best man?
I can tell you who it's not going to be. I'm sorry. You know what? You baited me then.
Yeah, you're saying that. You're saying under no circumstances would Sean Brandy be your best man.
You got me. There would be no. I think the people who actually introduced us, Fred and Mary, Fred's probably going to be my best man down in Charlotte. But no, I'm
clip that and just make it sound like he's talking about me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of fun. I kind of relax and kick back. I have my grandkids there, my family and friends, so it gives me opportunity to. I always say for me to get some man bondage time, because bonding time.
I was going to say
slightly different definition.
A little different,
I'm sorry. Bonding time with some of my friends down there. I like to do. We play cards. We go out on a couple of my buddies have boats and we fish, and so it just gives me a bunch of time just to get away from the game and just kind of relax.
All right. Well, listen.
Good.
Congratulations on the upcoming nuptials. Lucky lady that gets to marry a man like Cedric Maxwell. Congratulations on not seeing Grandy for several months. That's got to be nice.
You're just trying to pull me into that thing, aren't you?
Oh, unlike you all year, who really never bringing him up. That's right. You're so innocent in this.
We're going to have a cage match with you, Grandy, and Kyle Bailey. We're going to bring the three of you guys in.
Well, it would be 2-on-1. That's not fair.
The three of you. Whoever comes out, swinging.
Yeah, well, they'd kick my ass and shake hands and split the purse. I mean, that's what they would do. All right, look, well, I like that Sean called us your friends when he said that he was going to stop. Yeah. I do like that. He obviously resents that you do this show, so that makes me happy. All right, Cedric, you're the man. I'm going to miss talking to you. We're all going to miss talking to you. You're one of our very favorite guests. Enjoy the wedding, and congratulations. Have a great off season. Again, if you're ever in town, feel like calling in anything by any chance.
Johnny Baseball. I love it.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much,
Max.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, there you go, Cedric Maxwell. I like how he's like, you got it. You're trying to get me to say something, but then
I know. At the end of every week we'd say something like, "Say his name."
Well, you just didn't know. I go, "Who's going to be your best man?" And he goes, "I can tell you who it's not going to be."
Right?
Like he just does it.
No, it's a 6-month thing, and he's like, "No, I didn't do any of that." Yeah,
that's right. I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. You've been aggravated since we turned the mics on.
I don't know what it is. I don't have time to think about that right now.
Hunter and Hardy.
It's ridiculous.
The Sports Hub.
Bruno Mars playing Ford Field 2 nights in a row.
Same thing when he comes here to Gillette. He has 2 shows, back-to-back nights.
How much do you think you clear off a stadium show? One stadium show?
Like what his guarantee is? What do you mean?
So obviously everyone else but Bruno Mars is salaried, and Bruno Mars then is the one individual that would get a cut of the gate, the one performer that would get a cut of the gate. Say they get 60,000 in there, around 55, 60,000 people in there.
Yeah, not selling the back of the...
Yeah, for the stadium show. He's doing 2 of them, that's 120,000 people. They're charging, $200 a ticket, average. I mean, it's insane. Millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, he's got to be making like decent mid 6 figures for those 2 nights, wouldn't you think?
I would think he was making well over $1 million per show.
Yeah.
It pretty easily.
I would
it's
split
split
$1 million to $1.5 million is what I would say.
Per show.
Yeah.
Which has got to be a good feeling when you get on stage and you're like, I'm performing the same songs every night and I will be rewarded with over $1 million.
Now, I don't know Detroit venues, but if he was rocking the Dome like your buddy did back in the day, would he be making more money than Ford Field? Or
Silverdome was bigger than Ford Field, but not by. I mean, like if concerts at the Silverdome, they had to drape behind the stage because
right, because you can't see anything.
You can't. You'd be sitting behind the stage. So, but then you get that seating on the floor, which I guess mitigates some of it.
Sure, but not all.
No, but it's not like WrestleMania 3 that I was at the Silverdome, the largest indoor event of all time, which then turned out to be maybe they were fibbing. But I was at WrestleMania 3, which immediately gets me cred with the Kowloon crew. I was in row 7 for WrestleMania 3.
Yep.
So in terms of like big concerts, like the most number of people there, is this on par with like the biggest show that you've attended and just for a concert?
I saw SZA and Kendrick Lamar with Zoe, and I don't think I've ever been to another stadium show. So this will be my second stadium show.
Okay.
Because there was never been a band that I wanted to see play a stadium.
Right.
And I didn't enjoy Kendrick Lamar and SZA because, as you could imagine, Kendrick Lamar is an intricate rapper and he's very small. So it was very hard for him to command 60,000 people. Now, SZA was able to do it. And what they did is they go one on, one off, one on, one off. They didn't play like a set and then the other person came on. They kind of combined their sets. But Kendrick Lamar, even for Zoe, who's a huge fan, and I like Kendrick Lamar, had trouble keeping the audience. It's like if you're playing a room that I have no doubt Bruno Mars is going to be able to do it because he's like a instrumentalist, whatever that term is. He can dance. I'm sure there's like
I imagine it's a pretty good show in terms of video presentation.
Yeah, like it's like going to be like he's like a performer. So I have no doubt that he can perform for that kind of audience. But like a rapper for a stadium, an arena, you can do. A stadium is completely different. It's a very hollow feeling that needs to be filled up, if that makes any sense. And to do that, it's very difficult for an individual to do that. Now, I assume Bruno Mars has a huge band, which helps with that.
Yep.
I'm sure there's choreographed things. But if little Kendrick Lamar comes to the front of the stage and goes, while like people are dancing behind him, it seems small.
Yeah. You can only make it so big. I saw U2 at the Silverdome.
Ooh.
During the, Rattle and Hum era. Really good sound quality. Awesome.
Yeah. Usually in those domes it is.
Fantastic.
Audiophiles are often big fans.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely packed. I saw the Who there too. So those probably tie for like the biggest indoor ones. But 12, I wonder if when Foo Fighters played Boston Calling a couple of years ago, like how many people do you think were at that show?
That was this. I think that ended up being the size of a stadium show would be like the 50 to 60,000 range.
I would guess it was more than that, man.
You think so?
I mean,
was Foo Fighters and Metallica the same year? No, it wasn't.
No,
Metallica was the year before.
That was the most people I ever remember seeing at a show, and maybe it's a recency bias too. But like seeing my son wanted to go see Foo Fighters at Boston Calling, I'm like, all right, we'll go. You couldn't get anywhere like close. And yet, what we did was we found one of the secondary speaker setups. They had the ones on the stage, and then they set more up like further back because otherwise you can't really even hear it.
Yeah.
And we're like so far away, and I'm looking at the sea of people. I'm like, Jesus, I don't think I've been in a crowd this big since, maybe going to a NASCAR the one time.
Well,
it was massive.
We did a bunch of free shows in Atlanta that were actually kind of cool downtown, and they would get out of hand a little bit. But the most people I've ever seen at a concert, I actually introduced the band, and it was Music Midtown, which can have, like, Courtney Love headlined a night of Music Midtown one year, and there was probably 500 people in front of the stage. It was Creed, and there were 100,000 people, they estimate. Jeez. And I have a picture from the stage because it was so crazy. I was like, I need to, like, someone have an instant camera or, like, a disposable camera, and I still have the photo. In fact, I showed it to someone recently. It's, like, just this sea of humanity, and then you're like, oh, my God. People are like, who was it? Who was it? Like, who is this magical act that brought all these people together? And you're like, Creed.
Yeah. Duh.
And you could have knocked me over with a feather. I had no idea that many people liked Creed. It still was surprising, even at that Music Midtown. I haven't been there for long.
Man, oh my God, 100,000 people have shown up in the quarters in session. Verdict is in.
Well, you can imagine why they picked me to introduce the band, because no one wanted to stick around and wait for Creed to play. So, like, they had the new night guy come out and introduce the band. Like, no one could be bothered to stick around. No one liked Creed that worked in radio. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. There's some new information about the Vrabel-Rossini relationship, so we'll just keep that going for a long time.